Hello everybody, it's Tim here again with another movie review, this time for Love Lies Bleeding, the A24 film with Kristen Stewart and Ed Harris, and whoever the name of the chick was that played the bodybuilder, but she did a good job. Um, as far as this film goes, I decided to watch this film. It is a little bit off my beaten track. Now, I am not just a horror fan, I'm a movie fan. I watch pretty much anything really that kind of either catches my eye or just has a lot of good critical notice, and I'm not saying I'm someone who always agrees with the critics. I generally don't, but at the same time, if enough people praise something or are interested in something, I figure, what the hell, why not give it a shot? And I'm not against like artistic movies. I'm a fan of A24. I think they're a good studio. I don't think they're great. I haven't liked all their films. I wasn't a big fan of like Lamb or whatever. But overall, I think they're a good studio, and I like that they take chances. Now, as far as Love Lies Bleeding goes, I'd give it a 3 out of 4. I thought this was a good movie. I did not think this was a great movie. I think this might have like either a 6.8 or a 6.6 on IMDb from audience ratings. I would say I pretty much agree with that. I think this is a good movie. I think this is an obvious 3 out of 4 star good film, but not a great movie. Um, the movie is it's pretty simple in terms of story. You got Kristen Stewart, whose father is like a crime boss, like Ed Harris, and their mother left, and she's got a sister who's in an abusive relationship with Dave Franco, of all people, who every time I see him, I keep thinking, is that James Franco? Yeah. No, he got canceled. So it's Dave Franco. But yeah, she gets the shit beat out of her by Dave Franco, of all people, all the time. And so there's this chick who's this bodybuilder, and you see her at the beginning like having sex with Dave Franco or whatever, who is actually the brother-in-law, yeah, like I said, of Kristen Stewart's character. And she's like having sex with him so she can pretty much get a gym membership. She wants to work out so she can go to this female bodybuilder like competition in Vegas so she can try to win. That's what she wants to do. And she's a bisexual chick, so she's like fucking Dave Franco, and she also like ends up, of course, hooking up with Kristen Stewart. That's the big thing about this movie. Like a lot of times when you got actors, like I'm not, whenever actors play like gay roles or gay characters in movies, a lot of times the movies just get praised because hey, the actor went there. And I think Kristen Stewart is actually like bisexual in real life, maybe, or maybe she's a lesbian. I'm not sure. Well, I guess she's bisexual because she did go out with Robert Pattinson, I believe, in real life, and had sex with the director of Snow White and the Huntsman. So she can't be a lesbian unless she's I don't know, whatever. But what I'm getting at is normally movies just get praised in general sometimes when actors just play gay characters when they're willing to go there. But at this point, we've had so many movies that have centered on like gay relationships and stuff like that that it's like it's not as big a deal now as it used to be. It's not like, oh, so daring. Now it's like, oh, it's another one. It's become more of the norm, which is fine. Um, and so, of course, she ends up hooking up with Kristen Stewart, and they have a relationship. And Kristen Stewart's character pretty much is what sets the bodybuilder chick on the wrong path. Even though she doesn't put much thought into it, it's not. It's more of something happening because of ignorance, like she doesn't understand how bad steroids are. So she gives steroids to the chick to like try to help her win the competition, but they make her like go crazier and crazier throughout the movie to the point where she has roid rage like multiple times. And eventually, when her sister gets like put in the hospital because of Dave Franco, the steroid chick like flies off and goes and beats the shit out of Dave Franco and kills him, which is he deserved it, but at the same time, she shouldn't have killed him. Of course, she should just like beat the shit out of him and threaten him and made him like leave or town or whatever. But instead, she just beats the shit out of him and kills him. And so that puts him in a tight spot, so they gotta try to get out of there. And there's this other blonde chick or whatever at the place who's like obsessed with Kristen Stewart, who wants to have like a lesbian romance with her, but Kristen Stewart doesn't really like her, but she witnesses them like dumping the body, so she tries to get Kristen Stewart to like, tries to blackmail her so she'll like take her in and be on a romance with her. And that's when the bodybuilder chick like shows up, shoots the blonde chick because she's going crazier and crazier because of the steroids. Um, and so then they have to like get rid of the blonde chick's body, so like put her in the back of the vehicle. Ed Harris wants to get rid of Kristen Stewart because she's talking to the cops basically, or at least he believes she is. So he sends like this dirty cop to like go take her out, and she ends up taking him out. Kristen Stewart does by pure kind of luck. Kristen Stewart's character in this is not really like a badass or anything. He's just kind of an average chick. Um, and you also get a moment where the bodybuilder chick like goes to Vegas. Eventually, she separates with Kristen Stewart just before the bodybuilder chick comes back and shoots the blonde-haired chick or whatever that was trying to blackmail Kristen Stewart into a romance. She goes off and goes to the competition. This is when she has like a roid rage freak out, like hallucinates like throwing up Kristen Stewart, and then like she's actually threw up on stage and she hallucinates people making fun of her, and she like flies off, starts beating the shit out of another one of the women there as a contestant, and then she gets like took back by security. Of course, she loses this competition, so she comes back. She's going crazy, crazier, and she's off of Kristen Stewart. Uh, um, the the female bodybuilder chick or whatever ends up getting kidnapped by Ed Harris. And you can tell this movie's operating on like a smaller budget because Ed Harris doesn't seem to have any like goons or whatever. He's a crime boss, but he doesn't really seem to have anybody working for him much. Because when Kristen Stewart goes to rescue like the female bodybuilder chick, there's like nobody there like guarding her or anything. She's just there. So that doesn't really make sense. It's obviously part of the budget. This is a lower budget artsy movie. She goes there, gets her out. Ed Harris shows up, shoots Kristen Stewart in the leg. He's torturing her, and she tells her that the reason her mother left is because he was, she didn't want to live with the fact that Kristen Stewart was a criminal like her father. And she's like, "No, I'm not." And Ed Harris is like, he gives them "we're more alike than you think" speech or whatever. And then this is when the bodybuilder chick like has a freak out. And we get like kind of a silly artsy moment where she like hallucinates herself growing into a huge giant like the size of a skyscraper, and she like holds Ed Harris down, and Kristen Stewart gets ready to shoot him, but she doesn't, and the police show up and arrest him. That's the idea we get. And so they get away, and then you find out the blonde-haired girl is in the back of the vehicle. The bodybuilder chick is asleep, and the blonde-haired chick is in the back of the vehicle, and she's starting to wake up, and Kristen Stewart sees that. She walks out, strangles her to death, and kills her, and dumps the body in, and is like casually smoking a cigarette off camera while the bodybuilder chick's asleep, and that's how the movie ends. So you get the idea that Kristen Stewart's character, who was kind of like against killing and stuff like that and going too far in the movie, has now become corrupted and has become a criminal just like her father, and is now casually strangling people to death or whatever. So she's become evidently by the end just like her dad. And of course it tells you that her relationship with this bodybuilder chick, it's a doomed romance. There's no good outcome between these two chicks that's ever going to happen. Like if this movie had went on, if you could like go into this world and see more of the future of these characters, obviously the logical thing that would happen is either Ed Harris would, like, while he was in jail, would like contact somebody to go after him, and one or both of them would get killed, or the police would eventually catch them and arrest them, or the bodybuilder chick would have like a roid rage at some point against somebody, maybe even Kristen Stewart, and either kill her by accident, or she would attack somebody else and end up getting arrested because of that. But eventually what I'm getting at is these characters, their romance, their life it's doomed. It's doomed to fail. There's no good outcome between these two that could ever possibly happen. So overall, it's a 3 out of 4 film. I thought it was a good movie. It was well directed. It does a little bit artsy-fartsy with the giant bodybuilder chick scene at the end. It's a little silly, but you get the idea that that's like in Kristen Stewart and the bodybuilder chick's mind or whatever, how they see her and all that. You get the idea. But overall, yeah, it's a 3 out of 4. This is a good, solid flick. I liked it. Would I watch it again? Probably not. Not because it's bad, but it's just not a movie that has a lot of rewatch value, at least for me. But it's a good movie. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you again.